All of Tensura got buffed again. So I don't think there's a better way to show them off than having them all in a single video. Apart from the Easter units, because they're not out yet on global. Thank you, GS devs. We love you. Every single character here is going to be shown off in this video. The only ones that won't be included, like I said, will be the Easter characters, Shuna, and Santa Rimuru. I unfortunately don't have those. I can't luck sack everybody. But apart from that, everyone else here would be shown. Oh, and New Year's Rimuru. I forgot about that one. Yeah, this guy, yeah, not showing him off. He's LB0, not using LB stones on him. Human Rimuru. He kind of stayed the same because he really didn't need too much. The main thing that changed with him is that on his art, you see here that it now gives you 40% max HP heal. And on his true art, he now gives a 35% increase in all stats. Before it was 30. The thing about this Rimuru that's really good is that he has all of these Dream Awakenings that you can pick, and I still haven't picked one, but if I had to, I would definitely add the Water Dream here, which I think I can actually do that now. So this would be my pick just because it gives him the Equip CT, it gives him the Art Gauge. It's kind of like the best of everything, especially for him being more of the support unit. I think this is hands down the best one that you can go for him. Team building for him is so easy. Since he is a support, you can kind of just throw him on anything. He's super easy to play. You could do a very simple AI on him as well, and it'll work phenomenally. You pretty much just want to use your true art, get the Art Gauge going with everyone, like how you see here. We have two Arch Generals, of course, with War God Finn and the Rimuru. And then once they're off to the races, man, I mean, look at this. They're kind of good. Like, you know, they're going to be doing their thing. If you want to, you can throw in an art just to give some stat res and also refresh everybody's skill cooldowns. That could be very good on certain teams, especially nowadays. Usually everybody loves using their skills at least a few times. But yeah, you pretty much just want to constantly make sure that true art effect doesn't really fall off, because if you do lose the HP stats up, it's not like the end of the world, but that's a good way to gauge when you need to reuse Rimuru's true art. If you see the HP of all your characters kind of go down a bit, you probably want to flick up again on that true art and just get that thing going. With this setup though, we do have a bit more Equip CT on the Rimuru. We also have True Izanagi on him. This is an additional 15% Equip CT. So if you have that plus, you know, some type of Equip CT crest, you are, what, sitting at about around 40% Equip CT if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think his Archion's too bad. Part of me thinks that it's 4 arts per second. If it's 4, that's actually really good. The only issue that Rimuru really has, this human Rimuru, and people call him human Rimuru, but he's not a human, let me just make that clear, he is still a demon, is that he's a type E Arch General. So unfortunately there's so many type E Arch Generals, and it's going to be hard to slot this guy on a team if you have like a really good Arch General already. Maybe you started playing during Kill la Kill, so you have Hoka and you just kind of wanted to pick up one other Arch General and you had this guy. That's where it's going to be a bit difficult to slot him in just because of that. But outside of that, you know, he works with every single GS original character, plus with certain crossover Archgens, as long as they're not type E. So if they're type F or something like that, or some other weird Archgen type. But yeah, I mean, he's kind of just Rimuru, man. You put him on your team and he just works. You know, there's not much else to say here. He's still a GOAT even in the Ascended era, and you can definitely use him in like Summoner's Road and pretty much everywhere, dude. Not to mention, this guy's a luck unit, so you can have him on your team all the time just for luck and support and all that type of stuff. Santa Shion's probably one of my favorite characters, to be honest. Like, she's one of my faves when it comes to the original well, it's not really the original, but you know, like, I would say the Awoken Tensura characters. And she actually got a few things that changed. The main thing here is that now her stackable buff on her passive can go up to 300%. Before this, it was only 240. As for her multipliers, she got an increase in her art up to 30,000. Her true art now is 150,000. And her Verdant Dream, which is the one that we have, is able to give her 200 art gauge at the start of the quest, which this is actually very good since you're able to use your art at least once, so you're able to get that 60% attack and damage from your passive, and then you can use equips that can give you another art by the time you reach the boss and then instantly blow up the boss. As for the other dream, it got changed a bit and it's able to give the entire team 30% more accuracy, which is not too bad whatsoever. I think this may be the play if you can't hit a certain accuracy threshold against like the extreme Crest Palace. But me personally, I like the Earth Dream a bit more. And talking about that Crest Palace, I actually don't think it's here right now. Let me check real quick. Oh, it is. Okay, so this is her signature Crest Palace. This is why you get Santa Shion. It's to nuke this bird here. All right, so I even tweaked the AI here to where she will use her art as soon as we load into the quest here. Okay, so I tweaked the AI even a little bit, so she'll use her art as soon as we get into the fight, which she should, right? Are we gonna see it? There it is. There it is. Light up the holy tree. I was hoping that she would do it before Okarun and Summer Miyu instantly kill everything. But as you see here, you know, she's gonna get that art gauge from Summer Miyu. She's gonna get the art gauge from Hellshaft. And by the time we reach the final fight here, we should have, there we go, there's another true art. So we're fine, and we're gonna instantly see this Shion blow up this boss. Watch. It's gonna be so fast now since she even got this modifier change. She should have enough accuracy as well, and with all the attack and damage buffs from this man Okarun, we should be perfectly fine. Let's see. Boom, insta kill. The reason why that even works is because she does that huge initial hit right out the gate, and that's all you need. You just need that one big hit right there to instantly nuke the entire boss's HP bar. She dealt 5 million. It was definitely more than that. I think the hit said like 8 or something, but I guess it didn't count that extra damage. That's what you mainly use Shion for, at least in the late game. Early on, you can use her, you know, in a lot of content, especially now with like her 200 arcades. You can use her in just farming like any kind of event because, you know, you're good. You just got to get to the boss and she'll pretty much kill him. But I think there's actually a special EX fight here that's specifically for her, or a special crossover quest. And unfortunately, I don't have Albedo, or Natasha's not out, because I would just use a full mono dark team here. But with this team, we are pretty much completely focused on optimizing her damage, and we can kind of just use the art just to kind of stack up some attack and damage, and we can use it again. Like, look how fast she gets that art, especially on this team here. She's gonna be able to just keep stacking. I don't think this Shion doesn't actually have any innate arch gen, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I don't think she has any of that. So we can use the true art here while we're going off with everything else. We're going to also use the art with Halloween Forte to get some equip CT speed. And I think we also get an attack buff. And as you see, it's going to slowly bring it all the way down. So we got it all the way. And with Hero Saitama, we really shouldn't have to worry about any kind of DPS. And look at this. We're actually able to buff up Santa Shion now with crazy amounts of attack buffs here. We're also going to use another art here. We're going to use a true art here. And we're just going to reapply our barrier here. And we should... Oh my goodness, that additional damage is ridiculous. 24 million. Mind you, this is a awoken character. So anytime you fight any boss with any kind of evasion, bring Shion and you'll be good. Another character that got mega buff was the man Benimaru. He got some insane stuff here, chat. One of the first things is that his art now increases all of his allies' damage by 100%. Previously, this was only 50. His true art now has a 200% magic res debuff. Now, the only problem with this is that it only applies if the enemy is burning. He has a few other things up his sleeve that makes him very good too, like this Dream Awakening passive. This has been also buffed to where the fatal blow now goes up to 200% crit damage instead of the previous 150. Also, Spectral Dream here has been buffed, where he's able to buff up all allies' magic damage up to 50% instead of just 30%. And since this guy relies on burn, this is going to be a double whammy here. Because if we need to burn the enemy, why not bring Shizu? Literally the character that is pretty much the burn support, right? And she got some pretty solid buffs too, like a duration increase on the art. We have a true art that's able to give us a 200% magic damage buff now, and the super art gives us 200% flat instead of 160, and the additional 160 is now 200%. So she's getting a total of 400% magic res down on a singular enemy. So this is kind of a magic focused team. I know we do have Hoka here, but that's just because of his crazy buff. But yeah, we're going to be buffing up Shizu and Benimaru to Kingdom Come, and we're going to be seeing a lot of damage, especially from Beni. This is also against the guy that we have to break, so it's going to be a bit before we can do everything. And even with this, I mean, this guy has so much damage res, and the bar is actually going down here, which is kind of surprising. You know, the true art there, do some damage, and eventually we're going to get this break off. Eventually. Yeah, cancels out the art. We love that. OG mechanic right there, by the way. Gonna use that again. We're gonna also pop off with our super art here, just because we want that additional crit damage. And look at that deeps, man. Oh my lord. Are those the goats? Is that them? Right there? Let's also use the art just to get a bit more damage, man. Like, come on now. And I think we may be taking it all the way down here. Let's actually use another true art there so we can get that crit res down again. So we can start critting with everybody. Benimaru doing this thing. And look at that, man. Hopefully we don't die here. I really hope that we don't die so we can see the stuff. Oh, okay, we're good, yeah. Oh, wait, we got to kill. I always forget we have to kill one more time at the very end. We're so close to actually offing this boss, but he just does not want to go down. I probably need to use Shizu's super art one more time here. We'll also use the super art from Star God just to get that additional magic res. As a magic res, magic damage. Now I use that, and that's going to give us all of the additional damage we need to finish this off. So Instantly blow up the boss, yeah. So we look at the details here. Benimaru dealing 12 million, almost 13 million, and Shizu dealing 10 million. Surprisingly, Shizu not dealing as much as Benny, but at the same time, it's not surprising because Benny does have like a 200% crit damage buff behind him. The next character we're going to be showing off here is the one and only Milim. Now, with Milim, we don't necessarily have anything out at the moment. I don't think that I can show off her reflect nuking, maybe, possibly, I don't know. But if you guys do want to see her reflect nuking, I do have a video on the channel where she solos Ganon with just reflect nuking. So if you want to check that out, you absolutely can. The first thing that got increased is now that the art is able to deal 30,000 damage. I don't think this touches the reflect damage at all, because the reflect damage, even though it's not shown here, I can bring it up in the database. So it's 250 times the damage they inflict on this unit. So if Milim gets hit with 30,000 damage, that translates to 7.5 million back at them. Kind of cool. Back to her buffs, like I said, you get 30,000 now on the art instead of the original 22,000. You now have a break value of 4K on it, and then on the true art, it went from 90,000 to 110,000, and the break value is now 8K. The break value buff is actually a bit good here because she wants to break the enemy, because if she breaks the boss, she gets more damage, especially on this true art. In terms of her dreams, she has this one, which is very strong. Fatal blow, 200% crit damage. You really can't argue with that, man. It's always great. But if you did want to turn her into more of a breaker, you technically could with the Earth Dream. That's able to give you the break power up and everything, but you more than likely have a dedicated breaker to where you don't need to use Milim as the main breaker. Now, I don't think I'll actually give her a Dream Awakening. I'm just going to be honest. I never ever use this character because I believe she is still the weakest of the original Tensura batch. But she is an Arch Dinner, as you see here. We got the All Allies crit rate 100% up, All Allies Arc H 5 for 15. So you can kind of do something with that. She is type E, if I'm not mistaken, so she does conflict with like Hoka and everybody. But in terms of what she got changed, one of the main things here is her passive, this right here. The duration of arts and true arts is now ×2 instead of just 50%. In terms of her dreams, she has a few. We have Crimson Dream, which gives Fire Master, very solid, and also Arc Gauge autofill. And then we have the Light Dream, which is able to give her 100% more attack, and it autofills her own Arc Gauge by 3. Personally, I would say either or is good, but if you really want to focus on just helping her out, especially support the team a bit more, the Light Dream is going to be overall better because she doesn't have too much innate arch shit in the kit apart from this right here, this skill that gives 30 arc gauge and possibly her true weapon. I'm not for sure if her true weapon does give her arc gauge, but if it does, then you know there's that too. So I would probably go with that just to make her a bit more consistent. So let's see how this goes. We're going to be using a breaker this time around, surprisingly. Tomo. We're gonna be seeing how we can do with this and getting her stacked up, along with also using the Milim and everybody. So with this Milim, we can actually use the art because the art does give her some art gauge, which will help us out. We can use the true art here. So we're gonna get a few stacks here with Tomo, trying to get her all stacked up. We're gonna just be using the true art here, even though it's not gonna be doing too much damage out the gate. It is gonna be more break though. As you see, the break bar is going down consistently. We're actually gonna be able to break right now. So we're gonna use the art again here with Tomo, just really trying to stack her up. To be honest, you probably could have just broke this boss with only Milim. I thought we would need more, but it seems like not. This is going to be Milim with her true art damage. As you saw, not really too much there because we do need a bit more to get her going. We're going to be using the super art here to lower that break res and also deal quite a bit of damage. We're going to be having the super art go off just so we can have that additional magic damage. And then here we go. This should be some good damage. Hopefully. Milim, please show up. There we go. There's some chunks. We're getting there, right? I know we're not on the level of Benimaru, but we're getting there. Benimaru had a bit more support than Milim. All right, here we go. Here's another big hit right there from Milim. Milim's damage really isn't that great, at least in this fight. I think she needs a bit more damage ups here to really make it worth it. I could also start stacking like fire res down with Santa Milim, but I don't think that would really matter too much. I'm gonna try to use another true art here with Tomo, and hopefully this can break the boss. Maybe not. Yeah, it seems like that he went underground, so we missed a lot of it. All right, now the boss is in break again. We're going to use the true art there. We do have the super art, the magic damage buff from Star God, and there we go. There's the additional damage. And if this boss didn't have really anything going on like that, I think we would have been fine. I always forget that we have to do, I've done this boss like 3 times, and I keep forgetting that we have to kill it one more time. Maybe I can get one more break in with Tomo. Oh, we're not even going to need it. Oh yeah, we're not even going to need it whatsoever. I think Milim's gonna be able to just solo this. Possibly. Tomo's gonna be able to finish it off. Yeah, there we go. I think this Milim really shows her strength when you can reflect stuff. Because anytime you can reflect nuke, she is like, oh my god, this unit does way too much damage. But if you can't get those reflect nukes in and you're having to just actually rely on her true art, she seems very underwhelming. But Milim's absolutely good. I'm telling you guys. In the mines, you can nuke Redacne with Milim. It's kind of stupid. In Ganon, you can solo Ganon with just Milim. Just put Exceed Zex on her and make sure she has enough art shin to constantly use her art. And yeah, you can solo Ganon with just Milim's art. Anytime you can use a reflect strategy, just put Milim on the team and it will work. I promise you. Ooh, Lord Jesus, this Milim is gonna be a monster now. This Milim got a handful of buffs that are so good for her. One of them is that her passive right here, Innocence, is now able to buff up your entire team with 100% attack instead of 80%. It also now lasts for 2 minutes instead of 90 seconds. Her art multiplier did get increased from 24,000 to 27,000, and the accuracy and damage increase went from 60 to 100%. We also have her true art that is able to apply a light res, and this light res down went from 80 to 100%. We also have her dreams. The Crimson Dream got an entirely new effect where it's able to autofill her own arc gauge by 1, and the accuracy buff here went from 20% to 40%. Very good just if you want her as a accuracy support type character, but I think the best thing for her, especially if you're using her with other light units, will be this Luminous Dream. This gives all light allies 2 arts, which is kind of whatever, but the main thing here is that she's able to buff up light allies damage by an additional 30%. So on top of all the other damage buffs you're going to be having, that additional 30% is going to be so good. And since she gives that 100% attack buff, one of the things we can do here is use her alongside one of the greatest characters they've ever released. Ladies and gentlemen, Hiro Saitama. So for this, we're just going to go into the free practice because nothing else is going to survive this, but we're just going to do like a 4 rotation, just see like how much damage Hiro Saitama can deal on this team. So what we're going to do here is going to actually use the true art to get the light res down. We're going to use the super art here, the super art here, just to get all the deeps, and then we're going to also wait till all that's applied. There we go, the light res and everything's down. So now we're going to use the super art, and that should be the end of it, right? Okay, there it goes. So we look, oh wait, that's the wrong one. Options, details. Hiro Saitama hitting for 85 million, ladies and gentlemen. That is insane. Of course, Milim is going to be great though, not only just with Hiro Saitama, but pretty much any team in the game, especially any like just team that wants to farm stuff, because this 100% attack buff is not just buffing up units arts, right? This 100% attack buff will help even equipment. So if you want to like try to go through events a bit faster, being able to give 100% additional attack onto your units is going to make your equipment, of course, hit stronger. So it's very good, and she's a really good nuke support character, and I highly recommend you guys use her if you don't really have too many nuke supporters, or it seems like your nuke teams are a bit lacking. She's going to be a great filler character. And I wouldn't even say filler, I just think that always going to be good. Now there is one more character we need to show off before we show off the other 3 in just like a singular team. And that's going to be Veldora. And his buff was not anything too crazy. I mean, you don't really have to change too much on Veldora, but it's still good overall. One of the main things here is his passive. It now gives you 150 arc gauge if you get near death. His skill also is able to increase the damage it deals to enemies that aren't bosses by 150. Before it was just 100. His arc gauge duration went up to 70 seconds. His true art went up to 40 seconds instead of 30. And then his super art now gives us a 250% damage buff instead of a 200% damage buff. Now he's still overall the same. Like, I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I really don't even think we really have to show Veldora off, because nothing much changed apart from just, like I said, the few modifier increases. So he's just Veldora, but better. But I'll still show him off because now he does have Okarune. So, you know, we can use Okarune here and give us tons of additional attack and everything, because Veldora wants as much as possible, right? Since he wants as much as possible, why not just use 2 Okarunes? And I don't know, we just cap it off with like a War God Fin, because why not? I mean, it'll work, right? I mean, it always works. Now, one cool thing is, and unfortunately I can't show it off, I wish the mines was here or something, because I would be able to show it off then, but Veldora's super art can actually go through any kind of like feints, so it's very cool to see that whenever it actually happens. But we're gonna get 2 stacks right here and just kind of like do it. I'm probably gonna do 1 more stack just to be safe. Actually, no, I'll go ahead and do it now because I don't want any of our buffs to necessarily wear off. Or actually, yeah, here we go. We're going to be able to get another stack because Veldora's animation lasts for a bit. And then we're going to see the damage from Veldora in just a second. Once we click on all this, hold on. There we go. So let's look at the damage from Veldora. And Veldora is dealing 16 million with just a super art. Of course, this can go a lot higher, especially if you have like the right setup. And I think it's a bit better if you're using him more so, not just in nukes, but in a sustained content where he's going to be able to do a bit more. Because with the true art, you're able to give everybody the 200% attack buff. So Veldora benefits from that. And if you have an Okaroon, even just one on your team, that's additional attack that he has. Unfortunately, Veldora doesn't benefit from the physical damage, because if I'm not mistaken, he is magic. But one thing that's good about Veldora is that he's not just this nuking character, okay? He actually can be used in sustained comps for that attack buff, for the defense ignore that he gives, plus on this right here, he also makes it to where earth units will not flinch. So that's 100% paralysis and 100% freeze res, which is very nice in hard pieces of content. Extremely good. And the last thing is that he is a dragon. So he is very immune to any kind of like race mechanic, because no boss in this game, I don't think, counters a dragon. Maybe there's one, but for the most part, no boss in this game counters dragons. So we have none other than Samurai Rimuru, Diablo, and Demon Lord Rimuru. So let's start with my GOAT Diablo first. Diablo had a few different changes. The main thing is that his true art has a increase in the amount of evasion rate that he's actually able to give, and the physical res went up to 100% instead of 80%. We also have the super art that now gives 150% dark res down, and we have the ability here, I think it was this one, damage up to blind enemies went from level 8 to level 10. It was either this or the blind res. I can't actually tell because in the translations it doesn't necessarily say, but it was one of these. Next, let's talk about Demon Lord Rimuru. Demon Lord Rimuru only got 2 changes. Art multiplier went from 17,000 to 20,000, and his super art stacks now go up to by 150 instead of 130. And then Samurai Rimuru got a few changes. His ability right here now gives you 20% DR for 80 seconds of the quest instead of 70. His art's gonna be having a higher duration on it, and his true art multiplier went up to 70,000 instead of 66,000. So overall, not too many changes, just some nice touch-ups to kind of keep them in the meta a little bit. In terms of what we're using, we're gonna make sure that we have all the dark relics on, just so we can have as much stats as possible. And the only thing that I kind of hate is that we don't actually have Albedo. I would love to be able to have Albedo to have some DR. As you see in this is just against the Firebird that we did earlier with Shion. But now we're going to be utilizing the man Diablo's evasion rate down to show you like how powerful this is. When it comes to how you use all these characters, it's relatively simple. The way how I play Diablo is I just use his art and true art and just kind of alternate between the two. The way how I play Samurai Rimuru is I just use his art and true art, and that's it. His super art is okay, but it's just a high multiplier, and Samurai Rimuru doesn't really have the DR, or that's the DR, the damage to back up like using the super art, because a high multiplier is great, but if you don't have tons of damage buffs, it's not worth it. Now with this Rimuru though, Demon Lord Rimuru, it's a lot better because you get the crit rate with the art, and then you also get the increased dark damage with the super art, plus you have super crits, so his multiplier is going to be insane. We're going to use the true art, or not true art, my bad, the super art here to buff up this man Demon Lord Rimuru's stats by crazy amounts, and then we're going to use the true art here, and then as you see, we're just going to take them all the way down. We're going to also use an art there just to kind of give all of our stats. We're at 22,000 HP, man. This is one thing that I've always loved about using this team, is that this team has like so much, and I really do mean so much freaking stats, man, and I just love it. Oh my goodness, I love it. I really hope that eventually we do see some more DR characters come out, specifically for Mono Dark Demon, because this is one of the funnest teams in the game in my opinion. Just seeing all your stats go up like crazy with the Demon Lord Vox and everybody else, like, oh my lord. And it's gonna get even better because Easter Rimuru, if he's on the team, you know, and Demon Lord Vox is there, just those two units give you 80% stats, or 80% HP at least. So you factor those in, you use the Dark Relics, you know, it's another 20%, you're now at 100% HP, and then to use someone else, you know, you're over 100% HP easily. So it's cool, it's fun. You can see here, Demon Lord Rimuru, still the damage carry, that's not going to change at all. He's going to be on the team for a very long time. Samurai Rimuru is still a great little candidate, great support character, and Diablo himself is just king utility in my opinion. But ladies and gentlemen, that is it. That is every single, well, not every single, but most of the Tensura characters in a singular video. Tell me down below what you think about all of them. Do you like them? Do you not? Are you going to be using these buffs? I don't think anybody's going to be necessarily upset with them. You let me know all your thoughts down below in the comment section. You already heard mine. Thank you all so much for hanging out. And last but not least, you guys already know, don't forget to drink water.